Hey, good early evening, beautiful souls. Everybody's had a good life. Hope everybody's having a good life. If that didn't come out correctly. We are on a Wednesday at 6 o'clock in the evening. Just getting off work. We're trying to make this video. This is probably about my third or fourth, fifth attempt to make this video. Speaking of the chosen ones, I've been trying to make a video about the chosen ones, and it's just not turning out right. I feel that the ego gets involved. I want to speak more from the spirit. I want to be as humble as I possibly can. Humility is where I want to speak from. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging or putting myself on a pedestal above anybody else. Chosen ones, I feel that we have a couple types of people in the world, I guess, givers and takers. People that operate more by love, givers, empathetic souls. I believe that those people fall into the chosen. They operate more by love. And I think that those people that operate more by love, they have more values, morals. I grew up very religious, but was not religious. I was wild. I didn't take things on another level. I had a lot of girls that were after me. I had a following. Never was the type to sleep around. That just wasn't who I was. I could have, but I just never was. Something inside me, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that it's in your DNA, I mean, I went for a very long time without having sex. Long time, years, tens of years, maybe 10, 12, whatever years. Long time. It wasn't a necessity. It wasn't something I had to have. I don't have to have it. I could probably go the rest of my life and be fine without it. I don't need it. It's not something I crave. I think that sexual desires are selfish desires. I think that's the way I feel. I'm not a selfish person. I'm not out to pleasure myself, to do things for myself. So I think that's more or less where that comes from. So I think that you have these givers and takers, and these people that are givers, they're all hard, they're all love, they're all kind. They feel guilty when they do something wrong. This is conviction on your heart. This is God speaking to you, is what it is. And I think these people are the chosen, part of the chosen. Will be part of the calling. I think if you're a chosen one, that eventually you'll find your way. Eventually you'll find your path. I feel that life will be pretty tough, pretty hard, probably be abused, probably get yourself in a relationship with a narcissist. So many trials and tests will be coming your way. Sometimes it'll be more than you think it'll be more than you can bear. But you can always put your faith and trust in God, and He will see you through. It's like it's always there. You always know, no matter what. It's there in your DNA. These people that are chosen, they'll have a rough life. operate more by their heart and by love. They'll want to do things to please other people, whatever they can to please others. It's hard for them to say no. You may be a doormat. Yes, man. You don't want to say no because you're afraid of the disappointment in somebody. You're afraid that you will affect them in some type of negative way. So you do your best to please everybody, to make everybody happy, no matter what. Doesn't matter what they feel about you or what they think about you, whatever they say about you. It doesn't matter. It's irregardless of the situation. It doesn't. In order to hate, you must become hate. If you're loving and you're kind and you're, a giver, you're not going to hate those people, not even those that did you wrong. You will feel sorry for those people. You'll feel bad for them, and you'll pray for them. Never any time will you take it personally, and maybe you will. But as you grow and you mature, and I feel that during this process, you'll gain some maturity. The haze will be cleared off a little bit more, I guess. But through this time of life and experiencing a lot of heartaches and pains, and there's going to be something really great happen in your life. And you may meet somebody, and more than likely you'll meet a person, and you'll fall head over heels for this person, fall in love with this person. This person could be in a relationship, could be in a marriage. You don't know what the situation is, and you guys will have such a strong connection, probably stronger than any other connection with anybody else. And it'll feel familiar. It'll feel great. It'll feel like home. And it'll be like nothing else you've ever experienced. And it will be rocky. There will be a lot of give and a lot of take, or a lot of running and a chasing in the relationship. What's happening is you're building yourself up to be stronger in yourself, not with them, but with yourself. This person will be like a mirror, will be like a walking mirror for your emotions. Whatever problems or downfalls or anything punishments that you've been through in life, this person will bring these things out in you. It is not them. They're opening your heart. You're starting to fall in love, and you'll start to open in your heart. And all those things that broke your heart through the years, all the pains and the miseries and abuse, it'll open up those wounds. You shut it off. Put a block on it. You shut it off, and then all of a sudden you open it up. And then once you open it up, you're opening up to these new scars and these old scars and wounds. And it's not them. It's the energy that they carry. It's the emotions they carry that they bring into that scenario, I like to say. And the time that you have together is not of this world. It's out of this world. And this is what keeps you coming back to this person. You experience the pain, the misery, and you run from it. And you're away for a little bit, but you remember what that felt like. What you felt was love. You felt love. Is what you felt. and you remember what that felt like, and you'll go back to it. And when you go back to it, everything will be great. Perfect. Nothing like you've ever experienced. Every time that you go back, it will get more and more and more intense. The more and more you fall in love, the more and more you open your heart, it will get more intense. The pains will come out even more. And what eventually will happen is it'll stop. So all this time in your life of experiencing all these heartache and pains and misery, never really experiencing love, you've been taught that, you've learned that love is painful. Anything that's got to do with love has got nothing, as all affiliated with pain and misery. Parents, you're supposed to love, or they're supposed to love you. They treat you in a way that doesn't represent love, that doesn't show love. So you were taught at a very young age that you can't trust those. You can't trust those that you're supposed to. You can't turn to those people that you're supposed to turn to for love, support, protection. And you can't turn to nobody, because these people are the closest ones that I have to anybody. These are my parents, my sisters, my siblings, whatever. And you experience this through life over and over and over again. And then you may detach yourself from your parents and cleave to a woman. Find yourself in a relationship with somebody, and it turns out that this person is just as bad as your parents, or worse than your parents were. So now something else affiliated with love, showing you nothing but pain and misery. As you get older, you're learning more and more. Love is just it's false. It's not real. It's fake. With this mentality comes something sent from God to shake your world up, turn your life upside down, turn your world upside down. Pretty much is what's going to happen. It's going to be great, and it's going to be painful all at the same time. And what may happen is eventually it's going to stop. Everything's going to be great one day, and eventually it's going to stop. That opening of your heart. Now, do you understand where I'm coming from now? You've opened up your heart, you've let your guard down, and you got shut off. Just like that. The darkest of darks that you could ever imagine. You've experienced a lot in your day in the name of love. Right? And then you finally found it. Real love. And you opened up to it completely. You drop your guard. Here you go. I'm going to take the chance. Everything seems great. Everything's perfect. It doesn't seem like it's anything of this world. The energy's crazy. It's electrifying, intense. Nothing. Shut off. And it sends you into a downward spiral. And you just hit bottom. That whole bouncing, like you hit bottom. Emotionally, you hit bottom. Get to a point where you're at a breaking point. You don't know what to do. You might contemplate suicide, but you never will. You never will kill yourself, but you might contemplate it. That is going to be your lowest of the lows. What's going to happen, and I'm only mentioning this in my case, but what's going to eventually happen, you're going to be aware of this. During this relationship between you and her, you're going to be aware of what's going on. You're almost going to know what's going to happen. And you're going to be prepared for it, but you're not prepared for it. And when it happens, you hit rock bottom. The only person, the only being that you can turn to is God. He's always been there for you. finally, now that you've had enough, you open yourself up to God now. All right, God, you know, it can't get this is as bad as it's gonna get. Right? So I'm just gonna let you have it. In my case, that's what I've done. I allowed God to have it. He was in control now. I fully gave it to him. Somebody taught me how to do that, so I did. I fully gave it to him. And all of a sudden, now he's starting to talk. I'm starting to hear him speak. Now, not in an audible voice, not all the time, maybe in some cases, some occasions, I would say yes. But not in an audible voice. He shows you things, sends you things in any way possible that he can. And in my case, my cell phone. I get messages pop up. The message that I would get was what I needed to see, was whatever was happening in my head. I'd watch a certain video, and it was what I needed to see, and it set me before another path where I needed to go. What had happened is I started to dig myself out of an emotional pit. The hell. I went to hell. That's what happened, is I went to hell. And I'm starting to get myself out of that by healing myself, cleaning myself up, removing negatives, all the way from the root to the crown. Right? This is what I started to do. I dug myself out of an emotional hole, healed myself, I fixed myself, and it put me through a born again of the Spirit. I like to say, people like to call it a spiritual awakening. I like to call it being born again of the Spirit. This is what you're doing now. You've created a new being. You buried the flesh, and you rose again from the dead as a new being, resurrected, reborn. It's been a process. It's been a wild ride, to say the least. I am like my Father. I started this journey to find peace. I found God. God started to guide me. He started to speak to me. I started to hear him. I started to understand his voice. He started directing me into Bible verses, Bible books to read. Each book that he had me directed me to read was what I needed to read at that time, where I was at in my spiritual journey. Just like these numbers that I get, each one of these sets of numbers or sequences of numbers was come to me in certain parts of my path. What I needed to see, the messages that came from behind those numbers matched my life completely amazed. Never once have I worshiped the devil, have I ever talked to the devil, have I ever talked to demons. I've got this gift of discernment now. I'm able to discern what is good and what is evil. One of my gifts from being obedient, being like my Father. I am like my Father. I want to be like him, and I crave to be like him, and I strive to be like him, if I use that word correctly. It's all in his hands. He is in control. I am not in control. I allow him to take over my being and direct me in the way that he needs me to go, and say the things that he needs me to say, and be a servant of God. Work for my Father. That's what I'm doing. I work for him. I work for him. He's my boss. He's my Father. I love him. Alright guys, well, hope you enjoyed the video. I think it went pretty well, I guess, considering just going in there blindsided, not really knowing what I was going to say. I feel that if you're loving and you're kind, that's who you are. You're an empathetic person, and you are part of the chosen. you're on that path, and you will be on that path eventually, to that path of salvation, holiness, righteousness. Keep trucking. It could be painful. You could already experience some pain already at one time or another. It will smooth itself out, I promise. Everything will be great. All in God's hands. Let Him have it. If you come across any worries or stress or fears, let Him have it. That fear that comes inside you, visualize yourself handing it to God. Whatever it is that's caused that mental weight, grab it and say, here, God, you can have it. If you got any worries or stress, grab a hold of it and say, here, God, take it from me, please. And He'll do that for you. He will. Let Him have it. Things are going to be the way they're going to be. And I know it's easier said than done, but it's going to be the way it's going to be. You're not going to stop that process. We keep moving forward. We don't go backwards. We keep going forward. And it's going to keep going forward, and it's not going to stop. Just how it is. Stay positive. Stay loving. Give it to God. Amen. Love you guys. Godspeed.